next we have a very powerful statement from the founder of FIRE and a professor of history at the University of Pennsylvania, Professor Alan Kors. Professor Alan Kors is a professor of history at the University of Pennsylvania, where he teaches the intellectual history of the 17th and 18th centuries. He has received both the Lindback Foundation Award and the Ira Abrams Memorial Award for distinguished college teaching. Dr. Kors graduated summa cum laude from Princeton University, and he received his MA and PhD from Harvard University in European history. He has written on the history of skeptical, atheistic, and materialist thought in 17th and 18th century France, on the Enlightenment in general, on the history of European witchcraft beliefs, and on academic freedom. He co-founded with civil rights advocate Harvey A. Silverglate and served from 2000 to 2006 as the chairman of the board of directors of FIRE. And we have a statement personally written and delivered by Professor Kors that Amitabh Mittal will read out for all of us.
Thank you. It's a statement from Professor Cross. I'm sorry that I cannot be with you in person today. I'm profoundly grateful for your bearing witness at Penn to the values of freedom of expression, freedom of association, and legal equality. Penn has had leaders of China and Soviet Union speak here, despite the concentration camps, the captive nations, the siege of China, the forced abortions, the deaths of dissidents, and crushing of Tibet. At such time, the cry is that university should be a forum open and significant voices. That is correct. I do not know the precise nature of events in Gujarat, but I guarantee you that the worst of the allegation against Narendra Modi, whether correct or incorrect, pale in comparison to the real crimes of speakers who already have spoken or been honored here. If I am not mistaken, in fact, the Indian Supreme Court, no friend of Mr. Modi, cleared him of collusion. And if I am not mistaken, he receives a significant share of Muslim vote in the last election. The last points are tangential. However, the real questions are speech or imposed silence, debate or selective censorship, the right of Penn students to hear from who they choose, or the coercive authority of others to deny them that right. If a professor invites a student on a date, everyone cries, power imbalance. What is it when professor demands the students rescind an invitation? When the group favoring boycott and disbursement of Israel came to Penn, sparking protest, the administration spoke up forcefully about the rights of freedom of speech. When Andreas Serrano was honored at Penn for his sculpture, the title, Piss Christ, Jesus on the cross immersed in the artist's own urine, and Christian students let their outrage be known, Penn administration replied that this was a university where freedom of expression reigns supreme. What selective standards they have. Imagine if a portrait of Martin Luther King Jr. or a Jewish star or a Quran had been immersed in urine. The university would have closed for days of consciousness here, and there would be a day of shame on the university calendar in perpetuity. As you meet, Penn is planning closer collaboration with China, home of Lagoy work camps and death by government beyond counting. Narendra Modi, on the other hand, may not even be heard on matters of economic. What hypocrisy. When professors demand censorship, they betray higher education. They betray their students. They betray their moral obligation. And they betray the university. For shame on... Shame on the censors. Shame on the hypocrites for the shame for not speaking out immediately and forcefully on this. And I hope infinitely that it had no hand, the administration had no on this, and I hope infinitely that it had no hand in this, which would be beyond the moral pale. And thank you to those who are here bearing witness to the rights and dignity of freedom of speech on a free society. Thank you.